Stadium Pulse, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Let's go. We're back. Back on the Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Sponsored by Nimnik GMC. We've been away for a little bit. Appreciate everybody who's been a supporter, been asking. We're back. It's been a very busy October and November, but we're back and here to talk some college football. A lot of Lane Kiffin talk today. The Florida head coaching search, Ole Miss. We'll get to all of that, of course. We got contender or pretender. Contender or pretender. Which one's which? And then thoughts from week 11 last week. Should be a fun one today. We welcome back Zach Benwick. It's been a while.
Yeah, happy to be here, guys. Really happy to be here.
And why is that?
Well, you know, there becomes a point in every college football fan's teamdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you go, okay, I realize that I am no longer the official sport chairman and the spokesperson of my team.
Okay.
So now I just get to say the brutally honest truth, and I can't go wrong. Because here's what happens: is now when I say the brutally honest truth, we surprise myself and we win, or I'm a prophet.
Oh,
there's no in between. I win. It's a win-win for me. But being a Florida State fan right now has made me sick to my stomach because I wish we were just bad. But right now, we might go to a bowl game. Like that. It's just frustrating, Jason. It's just frustrating. I don't know. You beat Alabama, you win the Super Bowl, and then you go, "Yep, I'm done for the season."
We're going to talk about possible outcomes for Florida State. They play tonight, by the way, NC State.
Yep.
And what's next? That will be towards the end of the show today. Let's start with Kiffin.
All
right. Before we go any further, just to catch everybody up to speed, he's meeting with Ole Miss today. He's meeting with their AD, Keith Carter. We don't know exactly what that meeting's about. Is there an extension on the table? Potentially. Probably. There's probably an extension on the table. Will he decide on that today? Who knows? There's this whole ultimatum stuff. That was the rumor that Ole Miss was giving him an ultimatum. And then, because they want to know, right? They want to know. I mean, every single day there's something new about him going to Florida or him going to LSU. I mean, his daughter's at some event at LSU yesterday, and apparently he's met his family, not him, but his family has gone to both places. And is that true? Is it not? Apparently Ole Miss gives him an ultimatum, but Lane on the Pat McAfee show Wednesday said no, they didn't. That's a lie. They didn't give me an ultimatum. And continues to say at every opportunity that he loves it over Ole Miss. Says he loves it. And says that these are the glory days of his life that he's been waiting for a long time to get to. I mean, he's rebuilt his life at Ole Miss. He has rebuilt his reputation at Ole Miss. He has regained his family at Ole Miss, gotten sober, all of these things. And this is what, from his words, that he's regained his life. This is glory days. He's living in them. He talks. I mean, I've heard him talk about 4 or 5 times in the last month. You know, so often we wait till after the glory days to realize we were in the glory days, and I think that's very true. But that's what he's seeing now. So, okay, well, how easily will it be for him to give that up to move? I don't know. Obviously, from everything that he's saying, everything that's out of his mouth, you would assume that he would stay at Ole Miss. If you just take his words at face value, verbatim, he's staying at Ole Miss. But the fact of the matter is, we have seen this with head coaches in college football for a long time. They say one thing, they do another, right? Or just because he moves, does that necessarily mean that he didn't like Ole Miss? Of course not. He can do both. He's allowed to do both. However, as much as, and to the extent that he has gone to say that he loves Ole Miss, glory days, all of this over and over and over, if you just look at his words, he would be staying. But who knows? Coaches lie. Coaches, maybe not lie, but again, we've seen this time and time and time again.
They tell you they say what their investors, if you will, or board wants them to hear,
or their agent,
or whoever's making the decision on their money. They say what they want to hear.
Right.
Now, where my head goes with this whole Lane Kiffin ordeal, saying that his pride and joy is with Ole Miss and that he's happy here and he's turned his life around at Ole Miss, which is a legitimate fact and truth, right? There's truth to what he's saying. I think of Hugh Freeze's thing at Liberty. Hugh Freeze was the head coach at Ole Miss.
Right.
Goes up to Liberty for a speaking event at some Christian conference saying that he got his life back together, all this stuff. Starts getting it back together at Liberty and then went on this whole thing about how Liberty, changed his life.
Right.
And I think since he's taken the job at Auburn, you kind of realize that Liberty thing was never sustainable. That career at Liberty was never sustainable. Now we're talking about Liberty versus Ole Miss. Like we're talking about two drastically different programs, drastically different funding. But as far as like we have heard this mantra before, and I don't think he's going to stay at Ole Miss.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you're Ole Miss, okay. And Lane Kiffin, after the Egg Bowl, because they're on a bye this week, obviously, at 10-1 in firm playoff contention, which is insane that all of this happens while the team is smack dab right in the middle of it. They win the Egg Bowl, they're 11-1, they're a 7 seed or whatever in the playoff. And then right after the Egg Bowl, 24 hours later, he says, I'm leaving. I'm going to go to Florida, I'm going to go to LSU. If you're Ole Miss, with the playoff on the horizon, would you let him coach the playoff if he wants to? Because he's going to want to, I would assume.
I think if you're Ole Miss, you cut him.
Really?
I mean, okay, if it's me and I'm the AD and the decision maker at Ole Miss, I'm letting Lane coach. Letting him coach. I'm going to keep a good relationship with him. I'm going to let him coach. And our team's been good so far. We're going to let him ride out into the sunset with this team he's built. But I don't see that falling in Kiffin's favor. And I 100% see the scenario where Ole Miss just says, all right, good. Reason being is because there's recency bias with this. There's precedence this year of teams cutting a head coach and then being successful the immediate following weeks.
Right.
UCLA. Exhibit A. Right? So because there's that bias and precedence this year, I feel like teams and decision makers are more likely to cut their head coach in hopes and in pursuit that we got an interim guy who can just do enough to carry on the momentum of the team.
So you would say he needs to coach because this is your best shot to win a playoff. Best chance to win a championship in decades.
So for me, yeah, I would say Lane Kiffin needs to coach because look at what he's done to this program. Look at what he's done. He's completely turned it around, and he's made Ole Miss a team that nobody wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
No team looks at their college football schedule right now and goes, yeah, I want Ole Miss this week. Like as far as like trying to get into the playoffs. If you're trying to get into the playoffs right now, you want Florida State, you want Arkansas, you want teams that can't finish a ball game.
Yeah.
You don't want to play Ole Miss. You want to play LSU. You want to play any team Brian Kelly head coaches, any team James Franklin head coaches, right? You don't want to play Ole Miss. And because of that, in my eyes, that is good enough and great enough to where you're like, I need this guy coaching regardless of if he wants to leave or not. Because also, he would be so much more inclined to stay if he wins the national championship at Ole Miss.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean,
but he's got to make his decision beforehand, though.
Correct. He doesn't make a decision beforehand. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, he's got to make it, I think right after the Egg Bowl. I mean, again, they're meeting today. There's a possibility some kind of decision is made today. But I would assume after the regular season. So the fact of the matter is, with all of this and what you're saying, I would assume that Lane Kiffin probably feels a little bit stuck. Not in the sense of he doesn't necessarily know what he wants to do, but now is not the right time. You're 10-1 in the middle of a playoff mix. He wishes he just had more time. I think this is where John Sumrall enters the fray. Because if you missed it this past week, Wednesday it comes out that Florida is going to meet with Sumrall. Okay? Not even an hour later, it comes out that meeting's been canceled. Okay? Doesn't make any sense. Are we just chalking this up as erroneous reporting? I don't think so. First of all, and I don't think this necessarily even needs to be said, the Gators are not hiring John Sumrall. It's not happening. You cannot go G5 again, much less to the same exact state that Billy Napier just came from. Billy Escapier, excuse me.
Thank you.
Okay. So you can't go to the state of Louisiana to hire another head football coach, especially that's not in the Power Four. Okay, so that's number one. It's never happening. So the question is, if you're never going to hire Sumrall, what is the point, or why did this notification, whatever, why was it released? It doesn't make any sense, because you're going to tell me, okay, we have 10 job openings in college football. Okay, from Florida to LSU, Penn State, you guys know them all, Oregon State, everybody. Auburn, Penn State. The only single team that has done anything to replace their head coach is Virginia Tech. They've hired James Franklin. The other 9 schools, has there been one notification about them even meeting with a head coach? No. So you're going to tell me, like that's just not happening this week or before the season ends. You don't see Arkansas going out and interviewing head coaches right now. You don't see Penn State doing that right now. Guys, the only reason VTech went and got James Franklin is because he was out of a job. He didn't have a job. But all these other schools were obviously trying to hire coaches that have jobs. So no interviews are happening. So you're going to tell me that in every single one of across the sport, the very first interview of a guy who actually has a job right now is from Florida. And it's Sumrall. I say there's no way. There's no way. It's random. It doesn't make any sense. No teams are interviewing head coaches right now that have jobs. It's not happening. So why would we get that notification? I have a theory. Or maybe this is a theory kind of from people, from Gators fans, that believe that Lane Kiffin's kind of in their hand, that he's kind of in their bag, who are very confident that they're going to get Lane. They would say, because you got to understand this, who's Lane Kiffin's agent? Everybody knows that's Jimmy Sexton. But who's John Sumrall's agent? Well, it's also Jimmy Sexton. So perhaps, again, this is from the perspective that Florida has a very, very good shot to get him. If you're very confident in that, then you would say, Florida, Jimmy Sexton called in a favor. He said, Florida, you're going to get Lane. But he just needs a little heat off his back. He needs a little bit more time right now. Maybe a little distraction. So you can help me in 2 ways. You can throw out this John Sumrall thing. First of all, you can help yourself by at least giving the illusion that you're interviewing other candidates just in case you're not getting Lane. But you are. This is from Jimmy Sexton's perspective. He would say this. Number 2, you help me out and help Lane out, your future head coach, because you take a little hit off his back, give him a little bit more time, or at least the illusion of that. And then third of all, you can do me a favor, because you're going to help out one of my other clients, John Sumrall, because if news comes out that you're interested, guess what Auburn's going to do? Auburn, who, as soon as they fired Hugh Freeze, I think one of the number 1 or 2 guys that was linked there is Sumrall. As soon as Florida comes out that they're interested, I'm sure Auburn's going to get that ball rolling a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, right? Maybe they're, oh, shoot, Florida's interested. Florida's interviewing. We got to get going. The meeting, I don't think, was ever actually going to happen. For anybody who's saying that Sumrall turned it down, no. Sumrall is not turning that down, ever. Okay, I believe he'll be Auburn's next head football coach. He could even be Ole Miss's if Lane were to go. But so that's just my theory. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the meeting today, if anything comes out of it. But if you were to ask me right now, I believe Kiffin will be signing an extension and staying at Ole Miss. And again, we've said it before. I just have a hard time believing. And again, I know coaches can say one thing in front of a microphone, in front of a press conference, on a show, and do something completely different. We've seen it a million times. He could be lying through his teeth. I wouldn't take him as that. But this guy looks completely and so genuine that he loves Ole Miss. He loves his life right now. He loves going to watching his son play as a sophomore QB at the school right up the road. He loves that his daughter's there in a sorority or whatever. He says he's in his glory days, and he said money won't change that. I don't think he'll go.
If Lane Kiffin's true to his word, which if he's seen this much life change, it's definitely possible that Lane stays at Ole Miss. And to be quite honest with you, I think that it would say a lot about Lane Kiffin if he does decide to stay with the money that's being thrown at him. I genuinely think it would help his recruiting pool. And the fact that the players going there know the quality of coach they're getting. Mm-hmm. This year in college football has been a story of. I mean, it always kind of is. So I guess this is kind of a weird statement, but I feel like this year's college football has been more about the coaches than the players. Mm-hmm. Like almost objectively compared to previous years, where we're focusing on. Jameis Winston's the highlight of college football.
Absolutely.
Or we're talking
Menzel or Newton or Tebow.
Correct. And
I know we went back.
Maybe it's because we're in the Southeast and so we're surrounded by SEC football. Did you have barely heard about this year? Jeremiah Smith. You know who? And he's one of, if not the best wide receiver talent we've ever seen in college football.
Yeah, he's got 900 yards.
Barely hear about him, right? And all we've heard about this year, which I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's not good. It's not bad.
Yeah,
but
I think you're
we
right.
hear about Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. Where's Goulash going? Billy Napier. Yeah. Billy Scapier sucks. Mm-hmm. Dabo's crying Sweeney. Franklin's got canned. Kelly. B. Kelly doesn't know how to coach a football team. Mike Elko's, I say this tongue-in-cheek, Nick Saban Part 2 at A&M. Like, what is Norvell doing? Is he drunk? Is he not? I mean, all we hear about this year, when you think of a college football team this year, you don't think of the players, you think of the coaches. Mm-hmm. And so, with that being said, one of the truths in life is that, for you, Jason, my perspective is your reality when it comes with you and I, right? So whatever I think about you is the reality that you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So if I love you, your reality is that, wow, he loves me. Great. Now, if I hate you, you have to now talk to me in a way that I hate you in order to either flip my perspective or get me out of the room.
Getting deep, yes, let's go.
So when it comes to football now and recruits and teams, if coaches are the forefront of the team right now, mm-hmm. in the forefront of college football, all of your recruiting is based off that one guy. You can't base it off culture anymore this year. Your recruiting pool is not off culture. It's who's your coach. Mm-hmm. Is he going to stay? What type of man is he? Mm-hmm. And Lane Kiffin staying would mean the world to Ole Miss, and any other recruit that plans to go to the SEC would be that much more drawn to Ole Miss.
I think so. Yeah, I think Ole Miss would have its best recruiting class of all time if Lane stays. Yeah, I agree. Real quick in the chat, I missed the name. If you can, I think it was RC something. If you can check that out for me. Right now. Had one that I wanted to take a look at. He does say in the chat again, I was happy to see Franklin get the VT job. Somebody else said that they outkicked their coverage. Detected
William Torres.
I agree. I think James Franklin, to me, as soon as I saw this notification, I was like, man, FSU missed out. Yeah. FSU missed out. And not to say they were ever in. That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, I mean, Mike Norvell could be their coach for a long time. Who knows? They're in a bind big time. But I was just like, man, James Franklin would have been great there, I think. James Franklin would have been great in Tallahassee. I mean, you're going to go 9-3. You're going to lose a game every once in a while, just like he did at Penn State. But I just thought the floor would be so much higher. You would never. I don't. 7-5. And again, maybe every once in a while, like he would have done at Penn State this year. But I just think culture-wise, I think that would have been a great hire. I just think that would have been a great hire. Would you have liked James Franklin in Tally?
No, because he's the Big Ten Brian Kelly.
Okay.
And I just don't want another year of disappointment. The coach that I would love in Tallahassee next year, if Norvell's gone, because I'm in such a weird spot about Norvell. It's going to make me angry. It's going to make my blood vessel pop.
Okay.
But let's say Norvell's gone. I want Jimbo. But, dude, I just don't want Franklin. Like, he doesn't win. Now, I saw in the chat earlier, and it got my gears turning. It won't happen because his buyout's too big, but Lincoln Riley to Florida State would be incredible as well. Like, that would be a powerhouse of a program. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd want James Franklin. I love Virginia Tech. I almost went there. Like, I love it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's a super pretty school.
Sandman.
They've got a lot going on. But, yeah, dude, I heard this on College Game Day. Kirk Herbstreit is my favorite analysis of his this year.
Really? You like something that Kirk said?
Dude,
that's new for an FSU fan.
I love Kirk.
Whoa.
Yes, I love Kirk, dude. I always have. I hate his takes on Florida State. Doesn't mean I don't like the guy. Like, I think he's a phenomenal.
Oh, it's because of the dogs, though. You like the dogs.
What?
Benny and whatever. Peter.
Oh, yeah.
His pups.
Dogs. Yeah.
That's the only reason you like him.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
No, I like him because he flies on really cool airplanes, and I try and guess him every time he posts a picture on his own.
Oh, wow. Continue, please.
So, Kirk goes, Pat, every time we talk about Virginia Tech, all we talk about is Enter Sandman. And then we don't really ever analyze Virginia Tech. It kind of just stops with, are they the home team? Enter Sandman. That's the take on Virginia Tech. But dude, it's like low key kind of true. Like, all we talk about is Enter Sandman. Now, don't get me wrong, it is the most electric entrance of all time.
It's incredible. I want to go just to see that. I don't even stay for the ball game. Like, I'll stay for the first quarter.
We'll go there. We'll go get a Watt Patty.
No problem.
Literally not one. But bro, I would love nothing more. It's not going to happen. I know. But Miami plays at Tech this week. I would love James Franklin to coach the team, which won't happen.
Of course.
Right? Coach the team. He runs out in maroon and orange. And all yours, sleep with one high-hope hand.
That a baby.
And then here we go.
It's the most accurate you've ever been. I've heard, trust me, guys. I sit by him at church. It's really bad.
It's horrible. I literally can't sing. I've been told that my friends have told me that they won't sit in front of me because it's so unholy of what comes out of my mouth. But anyway.
But that was good.
Franklin runs out of the tunnel, touches the Hokie Stone. It's an electric environment.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to shut down Carson Beck, cutting off all of Miami's hopes, dreams, and playoff aspirations. And James Franklin becomes the crown jewel of college football for the next 2 weeks. And then it goes into offseason. You realize he has no money to recruit anybody, and his team's going to be, 8-4.
Well, that's a great point. Dude, but if you wanted that for VTech, you could have had that in Tallahassee. That's my point. Like, you could have.
Correct.
Hypothetically, if Norvell goes 3 weeks ago, imagine. Norvell goes 3 weeks ago. James Franklin is hired by FSU last week. Okay? He's got 1 week. He goes, hey, let's the interim coach against NC State tonight. No problem. Hey, but that Florida game, I'm going to coach that one. And he comes out on the back of the horse.
It's at the swamp, though.
Oh, shoot. Well, whatever.
He comes out with a gator over his head.
Yeah.
Doing a war cry in the middle of the stadium.
Face paint.
Dude,
war paint.
If there's any coach in college football who's going to walk into an organization or an institution and immediately adopt it to its utmost degree, it's going to be James Franklin.
I think so.
So here's why I don't want him at Florida State, though, and why I like him at Virginia Tech, is because Virginia Tech right now doesn't really have an expectation of what a coach should and shouldn't do. I mean, you can go back to Beamer ball, but that's also like Florida State fans going back to Bobby Bowden.
Well, further, yeah.
I mean, it's You can go back to beer ball, sure. Right now, Virginia Tech has no expectation of what they could be. Them hiring James Franklin is an immediate improvement in both publicity.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
And football performance.
Right.
Immediately. Florida State hiring James Franklin, it's still a toss-up on if we're going to be just as good or better. Right? We will definitely not be worse.
100%.
We will definitely not be worse. And we probably won't lose a home game. We probably wouldn't lose a home game with James Franklin at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Florida State right now, which we can say for the end of the show, and you have what do you do when you beat NC State?
You do nothing. You
don't. But
what are y'all going to celebrate that you got bowl contention?
No. I'm talking about as far as Norvell goes. You're not going to fire him going 7-5.
Of course not.
His buyout is too big to be fired at 7 wins.
I think so. And this is the thing. It's very complicated over there in Tallahassee because you have 3 options, and you have 3 things there's 3 things that you want to do. You can do 2 of them. You have fire Norvell, hire a new coach, fully fund NIL. Those are your 3 things that you need to do. You can do 2 of those with your current situation financially. So if you could fire Norvell and get a brand new head coach, can't fund NIL, so the coach is going to fail. You can fire Norvell, fully fund NIL, who are you going to get to coach the football team? And this is the pipe dream that Florida State fans have right now. They have this pipe dream that Jimbo Fisher is going to ride in on his blazing horse and coach the team for free to save them and be their savior. And I'm telling you right now, Jimbo ain't doing nothing for free. No.
He won't.
This dream that he's going to coach for $1 million a year and the rest of his paycheck's going to go to NIL. I'm not buying that for a second. Why? Why would he do that?
I mean,
Jimbo's getting paid $70 million right now to show up on ACC Network every blue moon, and he's probably in Bora Bora right now.
It literally is every blue. When I see Jimbo on the screen, I'm like, do you even work there? I think he showed up, and he's like, I'm the guest speaker today.
Yeah.
Like, he tells them he's not invited.
And he's just going to go back to Tallahassee, and half the fan base probably is still going to hate him. Half the face, like on day one, if this got announced today, Norvell fired, Jimbo Fisher hired, half the fan base would hate him. He's not beloved like Spurrier to come back or Urban even at Florida would be.
Yes.
They would love that. I think given all the off-the-field stuff, who knows? But I think more Florida fans would want to see Urban than even Florida State. And I could be way off on this. I could be way off. I'm just saying what the reception would be from the fans. If Jimbo Fisher was hired today, I would say the large majority of FSU fans would still be out, or at least be very hesitant to give him support until he puts forth 2 or 3 winning seasons and gets them back in ACC contention. Maybe they get, of course, if you win, everything's fixed. But Jimbo's chilling right now. He's going to come back and coach for $1 million just so half the fan base can hate his guts? No.
I mean, dude, you're right, though. It would start a civil war.
It would.
In Tallahassee.
It'd be worse than Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
That's exactly where my head was going, in Jacksonville right now, like, you ask anybody, it's a 50-50 toss-up. Do you like Trevor?
I'd say it's probably 60-40 that they like him, because on Twitter it's 50-50, but we have to remember that Twitter's not always reality.
Correct.
If you go to the guy, the huge Jags fan who's not on social media, who just watches the game on Sundays and that's it, he's probably not out on Trevor, I would say.
And if you watch Florida State football and you're a consistent fan like me, like, I've been a Florida State fan my whole life, Jason. I never chose Florida State. I came out of the womb, and the last 3 generations of my family went to Florida State. My mom was a marching chief. My dad went there.
That's the way it ought to be. You had a baby.
And I have no choice. To the glory of God, I'm a Florida State fan. But here's the problem: is I went from Bobby Bowden. You did.
That was your childhood
to
coach.
Jimbo Fisher, who won a natty.
And that was your teenage coach. And then you got tags.
To Willie Tagbag. Willie Tagbag. Odell Haggins, who's like the savior of Florida State as an interim. Like, I don't think he's lost as an interim. Okay.
He's the goat. Bring him back.
Then we finally get Norvell, who gives us just promise after promise of, and not of words. He's not a very vocal coach. Promise after promise of just destroying the run game, tiring teams down. We go 13-0. Missed the playoffs, rightfully so. We don't have a quarterback. We would have gotten smoked, right? And then, DJ linebacker Uungalale goes, I hate this school. And I'm going to show them how much I hate them by playing football there.
And renting them at the same time. Don't forget.
Yeah.
He rents them at the same time.
And rents us. And then
$1 million.
And then here's what we're going to do. You ready for this, Jason? This is where it gets really good.
Uh-huh.
Is we go 2-10. Boom. Hey, we're going to open up at home with Alabama next year. All shit. we're screwed. Ty, big money, up the sleeve, ace in the sleeve, Alabama Simpson rolls out to Doak, and we steamroll them. We then beat the dog piss out of Kent State, beat the dog piss out of AM Commerce, who found their linemen in the lunchroom.
They did.
And then we go, yep, our season's done right here. Here we go from 3-0 with 12 points allowed to 5-5 with a loss to a backup 40-year-old quarterback at Stanford. You know what my life is, Jason?
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It sucks.
Welcome to Florida State football.
Yeah. Look, we've got to get this show back on the rails somehow. Yeah. So we're going to take a break. No idea if we're going to come back to FSU. We've been to wrap up with Florida. FSU plays tonight. Florida, I want to touch on their game against Tennessee because that should be a good one.
Yeah.
Then we're going to get to Georgia and we're going to get to the playoff. I'm going to give you my playoff thoughts, considering the fact that I didn't have really any of these teams in my playoff bracket to start the season. Tell you how much I know. So we're going to be right back. Stay with us. Stadium Pulse every Monday, Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back, Stadium Pulse 24 Action Sports Checks 24/7 Network. Spirited conversation here inside the studio today. Appreciate everybody hopping in the chat as well. That's what it was. RCLMX159 in the chat. He's been all over it today. Appreciate it. Welcome in. If you haven't before, Stadium Pulse. We do this every Monday and Friday. We cover 5 teams around here: Georgia, Florida State, UCF, and Miami. We're gonna have some Miami conversation coming up in just a little bit. We try to. I'm a dog. He's a null. Look, in Jacksonville, it's the only college football analysis that you're going to get that's not straight through the eyes of the orange and blue. Okay, that's just the fact of the matter. And we try to cut it. I mean, look, we spent the first 20 minutes of the show talking about Lane Kiffin. You're going to get the conversation, but I think you're going to get it from a little bit more of an unbiased perspective. Who knows? Maybe I'm just on the other end of the spectrum. I try not to be. I mean, I've told you since the jump street. This year that DJ Lagway was the reason you lost all your football games, not Billy Napier. Again, always said that he should have been fired. Just said this year really wasn't his fault. He wasn't the guy. I know that. It wasn't the guy. Bad time management, all that stuff. And all that to say, tonight, DJ Lagway's got another opportunity to prove me right. Or excuse me, tomorrow. When Tennessee comes to Tennessee is a 4.5-point favorite in this football game. They haven't won in Gainesville since 2003. 2003, the last time the Volunteers came into the Swamp and beat the Gators. Will it happen this year? Is this the Tennessee team that's able to do it? I don't know. Because here's what I'll say. Stuff like that matters. It's the same as the Jags beating the Colts every single time in Jacksonville. It's the same exact thing. I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing as Florida going to Kentucky every year. It's always a challenge. They lose a lot of times when they shouldn't, when they have a much better football team. We just saw that 2 weeks ago. It's the same thing when Tennessee comes to the Swamp. So that's a real thing, and that should make you very weary of betting on Tennessee or just thinking they're going to win the football game. However, in this case, I do think that DJ Lagway and betting against him is more important than even a theme as strong as 20 years without a win someplace. You cannot bet on DJ Lagway until he proves you right, until he proves that he can win. And again, I want to give a ton of credit to Florida's team, their defense. They battle. And then even when you thought they had finally, after all this, finally given up against Kentucky, and they played really, really poorly with about half of their roster, and DJ Lagway again played really poorly, benched him. Even then, they come back the next week and give Ole Miss an incredible test. That's playing for your logo. That's playing for your school. And those individual players, that coaching staff, they deserve a lot of credit, especially defensively. But even offensively, they put together a decent ball game last week. The question is, can they do it 2 weeks in a row? So they have a good game against Georgia, and then they go to Kentucky, and it's terrible. Then they play really well against Ole Miss. Now what happens when you're home against Tennessee? I'm taking Tennessee in a close ball game here. I think that it's going to be about red zone turnovers because, Tennessee's done that quite a bit. And then how many picks is Lagway going to throw? It's not if, but how many to me. And until he wins against a good team, I will never bet on DJ Lagway. This goes for this year, next year. I don't even know even if he's not even the Gators quarterback next year, even if he's playing somewhere else, until he beats an actual good team, I will not be betting on him until he proves it for 4 quarters. He's played a good half. He's played some good halves. He did against Ole Miss, but I will be calling for Tramel Jones still if I'm a Gators fan, even now. And then against Florida State, I'd still say play Tramel. That's what I would say. All right, let's get to Georgia. Now that we've finally wrapped up Florida, we spent the first good bit of the show talking about Lane Kiffin. If you're just now hopping in, you can just real quick, rewind, takes you 2 seconds. Go back to find that conversation ahead of his meeting with the Ole Miss AD later today. Should be happening in a couple hours, I believe. But is there an extension on the table? Is there not? We'll see. Will he be the next head coach in Gainesville? It's an incredible watch. I mean, I think we're already in documentary territory for what this is. From LSU thinks they got him, Florida thinks they got him, Ole Miss. They probably, a large part of their fan base probably thinks they have him as 2. Some of their fan base wants him out because they're tired of the tweets. I would say have a little thicker skin, appreciate what he's done for you, but Ole Miss could just as well just hop right back in and say he should appreciate what we've done for him. Because he is, again, like I said, he's rebuilt his entire reputation, coaching career, his entire life in Oxford over the last couple of years. All right, Georgia, going back to last week, utter domination of Texas, okay? And I had the Dogs winning by 2 scores, and they ended up dominating much more than that. I mean, and my question is, when are you going to stop sleeping? Again, I'm a Georgia fan. But each week they've been putting out these, 5-point lines. And I get it. The Florida game was close. And I think we could all see why. But I think Georgia is proving to you, everybody, week in and week out, that they are an actual national title contender. They're just not in the mix. Like, they can win a national championship. And I don't think very many teams can. I don't think anybody believes that there are 12 teams in this sport that can win a national title. I don't think there's one actual college football fan that will believe that. So the question is, are there 5 teams that can win a title? Are there 7 teams that can win a title? Are there 9 teams, maybe? Potentially 10? If a team gets really hot. But I don't think anybody believes 12 can. I think 6 can. And I think Georgia is definitely one of those. But I would go a step further and say that Georgia, they're just as much of a contender as anybody, as Ohio State, as Indiana, as A&M, as anybody. Because they have proven week in and week out that they can win in a myriad of ways. They can survive. And they're battle-tested. They find a way to win the game. And they did that against Texas. They blew their doors off. And then going back to last week as well, A&M, one of the most insane comebacks that I've seen, scoring 28 points in the second half after being down, 30-3 or 31-3, one of the two. I know it was a 1-point game. Insane there. Marcel Reed in that third quarter looked like the undoubted Heisman. They look like the undoubted best team if they play like that, not a single team in the country could play with them. The question is, are they going to have a bad start? Even half of that in the playoff, because if they even play half that bad in the playoff, they're done. And then the other thing, huge game last week in the SEC was Oklahoma beating Alabama. So obviously, in case you hadn't heard, Georgia would still not be in the SEC championship despite Bama having 2 losses because only one of those is in the SEC. Obviously, thank you Florida State for their other one. So right now it'd still be A&M versus Bama on December 6th. In the SEC championship. Georgia would not be in unless Bama would lose to Auburn, or I think even if Alabama or A&M loses to Texas, I think they'd still be in. Don't quote me on that, but there's a chance that Georgia could get in, but not a great one. And I just want to say, look, like, did you think they were just going to be mediocre, run of the mill, just because they had a 3-point loss to Bama? I mean, if you watch the game, that felt like a national title type game. I think, if you're not a Bama fan, if you're not a Georgia fan, if you're not an SEC fan, you watched that game, and you watched it alongside Oregon and Penn State. You said, this game on the right here, Georgia-Bama, that feels like a national title game. And if you watch the game closely, you watch Ty Simpson, and stats will back this up, you watched him play one of the best games that we've seen from a quarterback this year. Like, nobody's beating that team when he plays like that. It didn't matter. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. They were converting. Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams. It didn't matter. There was not a team in the country that was going to beat Alabama that night. I firmly believe that. That's not an excuse. Georgia should have won the football game. And also, if Talon Taylor, your true freshman, catches the bomb that's right in his hands, you win the football game, most likely. You're one play away, but you didn't make it and you lost. You didn't deserve to win. But then you come back against Texas. You came back against Ole Miss. You come back against Texas. By the way, Kirby owns Sarkisian. Holy cow. Blows his doors off every time. The onside kick. They're going forward on 4th down. Colin Simmons, one of the best players in the country, jumps offside on another 4th and 5. Thank you very much. Kirby owns Sark. That's a takeaway. Another takeaway for Georgia right now is they lost Colby Young, their best down-the-field threat receiver, and they didn't lose a step. You lost your number one receiver, and you didn't lose a step. 2 reasons. That's happened for 2 reasons. First of all, how many teams in college football could lose their number one receiver and not miss a step? Could Alabama even do that with Jeremy Bernard? I don't know. Potentially. They have a ton of weapons. They have a ton of talent. Could your team do that? I don't know. I don't know who your team is. But let me put forth this. They lost Colby Young, and they haven't missed a step because 2 reasons. 1, Mike Bobo. All the haters, show yourselves. This is what we just talked about. Jimbo Fisher would cut the FSU fan base in half and divide. The Jaguars fan base, Trevor Lawrence, cuts our fan base in half here in Jacksonville. Mike Bobo cuts the Georgia fan base in half and has for since he came back the last 3 years. Obviously, he had that long stint years and years ago, but since he's come back, he's divisive. I would say 1/3 of the Georgia fan base hates his guts and says he's terrible. Last year, we watched as Georgia receivers drop passes and has missed assignments, and everybody told me it was your offensive coordinator. Well, Georgia's a top 10 offense in the country right now, and they just lost their number one receiver, and they're blowing everybody's doors out. Texas, they blew Texas' doors out. They scored 45 points against Ole Miss, scores 40-some points against Tennessee. This offense is really good. So, Mike Bobo, haters, I'm sorry. You're an idiot. And you always were. It's the truth of the matter. So that's one reason why you've lost Colby Young and your offense hasn't lost a step. The other one, and perhaps more importantly, is because Gunner Stockton is a Heisman candidate.
Yes.
He's a Heisman candidate.
Say it again.
Gunner Stockton is a Heisman candidate. He should be. Where's the vote at? I should know this. Is it in New York?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be, right?
It's in New York.
Is it in Radio City? I don't know. He should be there. Gunner Stockton should be there at the end of the year. He's 5th in odds right now, finally. It took this Texas performance for him to even be 5th. He should be higher. He should be higher, and he should have always been 5th for the last month. Maybe not the first month of the season. I get it. We were still weeding some guys out. Carson Beck was still up there and all these guys. Nussmeier was there to start the year.
Castellanos.
Give me a break. Guys, 70% completion, 2,850 yards, 27 total touchdowns, 3 picks through 10 games. And he's going to have 4 touchdowns against Charlotte tomorrow, and he's going to add on a couple against Georgia Tech. So he's probably going to finish about 33 touchdowns, maybe 4 picks. 70% completion, 3,300 yards. 350 yards rushing, I would assume. I don't know what his rushing total is at right now. It doesn't matter. He should be on the Heisman stage. Because what's better, that or how much worse, really, is the question between that and this right here, this stat line, 73% as a quarterback. 2,600 yards. Gunner had 2,850. This player has 2,600 yards. They have 35 all-purpose touchdowns, 30 passing, 5 rushing, and 5 picks. That's a little bit better. Just a little bit. Less yards, but more touchdowns and 2 more picks. Mm-hmm. Well, that's Fernando Mendoza, your Heisman favorite right now. I'd say that's about right here. And one is doing that against, credit to him for Penn State. Unbelievable performance. He had a Heisman type. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Fernando as much as I'm trying to say Gunner's right there. He's been doing it against better defenses. And Indiana's played some okay defenses. And Penn State's a great defense. And again, he had his Heisman moment. And that final drive, that completion, that touchdown to Omar Carter. Flip a coin. I'm going to go Omar Cooper. Not sure. Unbelievable catch. And he had his Heisman moment. But I think Gunner's had that too. And I think Gunner had it against Tennessee even at the beginning of the year. 4th and 1, game on the line, completes a 35-yard dot for a touchdown to London Humphreys over the shoulder touchdown. I mean, unbelievable pass. He's had it against Ole Miss. He did it against Texas. So that brings us to this. Let me get off that because we only have a few minutes left, and I haven't even got to half of what I had today. Contender or pretender? Georgia is a contender.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to say contender as in, oh yeah, they could. No, like this is like your dudes at the very top. I'm saying 5-6 teams can compete for a national championship. I'm saying Georgia's there. Okay. Just as much as anybody else. Because, and Ohio State's there, but has Ohio State been battle tested?
No.
Absolutely not. Again, not going to take anything away from them. They are the number one team, and until somebody beats them, they should be the favorite. And if I had to, with my life on the line, I'd probably stay Ohio State right now. But do not be shocked. Do not be shocked. This is not the same Ohio State team as last year. And I think Sayin is really good, and he's getting better every single week. And anybody who said, oh, they can't win a national title because of Sayin in the first month of the year just because that was his first 4 games of his career, you're an idiot too. These guys, hey, newsflash, these guys get better.
Newsflash.
Sayin has gotten so much better. Gunner Stockton has gotten so much better. Where did all that talk about Gunner being gun-shy go? It's gone. It's gone. He had it in the first 2-3 weeks of the season. He has gotten a lot better. Arch Manning. Hey, by the way, in that Texas game, Georgia-Texas, Arch played good. Played good. And he's good. And he is good. And he always was. Maybe, perhaps, it was just insane for us to have these expectations that the guy who was playing the deaf and blind in high school against 1A Christian schools, not going to take it away. I went to one of those. Hey, the football programs aren't great. You saw the highlights against the kind of competition he's playing against. Could it be that you go from that to, I know you had 2 years of practice against an SEC defense, your own team. But could it be from that last live reps to a couple, spots playing time last year to really starting this year? You're maybe going to struggle a little bit out of the gates. Maybe some growing pains. Arch Manning is playing like a top 10 quarterback in college football right now. I firmly believe that. Under duress, that offensive line for Texas is terrible. I digressed again. We were supposed to get to Miami, have a Miami-Notre Dame conversation. We were supposed to talk a little UCF. I might be going to that game tomorrow against Oklahoma State just because I haven't been down there yet this year as an alumni, and I feel bad. You're not going to go to a bowl game UCF this year, but that's okay. You're going to finish 5-7. You just got to beat Oklahoma State tomorrow. Then you're going to lose at BYU to end your season 5-7. Hey, it's not the end of the world. We were supposed to get a lot more contender Texas Tech conversation. We got to none of it. That's all right. Enjoy college football. Hope you enjoyed this program today. You can always go back and watch. Start from the beginning again, the whole Lane conversation. Georgia's got Charlotte tomorrow, Florida State, NC State tonight. Go ahead and give me the Wolfpack in that one.
Agreed.
Go ahead and give me the Wolfpack. Florida State fan in there also says that as well. Florida has Tennessee. UCF has Oklahoma State.
Give me the balls.
And Miami, VTech.
That's right. The Fighting Franklins, baby.
Fighting Franklins, who will not be on the sideline, by the way. But, hey, Brenton Austin Show is coming up in 5 minutes. A lot of Jaguars talk. Cardinals, Jags, Brissett. Tootin was on Jags All Access last night. We'll have a little bit of that conversation. We'll give our weekend spreads and picks. And tonight, the second round of the high school football playoffs. It's going to be a fun one. Check in, Fox 30 Action Sports Jacks. We'll have it all for you there. This has been Stadium Pulse presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. Have a good weekend, everybody.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnik, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnikBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnik, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnik Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnicht has a treating you right guarantee. Courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnicht. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnicht. GMC. We are professional grade.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.